I am a registered independent, but I would say I leaned liberal. And the Democratic Party to me now is unrecognizable. And my question that would be directed towards Dan, because I look at the Democratic Party now, and they're not even the same party that they were when Obama ran. You know, they used to be the party of civil liberties. Now they openly uh, are saying they're pro-censorship. They're talking about regulation and censorship of social media under the guise of misinformation. But the problem is, who decides what is misinformation? You know, that's very scary to me because I think there's a reason that free speech is the First Amendment. It's the very first one in the Constitution. You know, the Democrats used to be the anti-war party, and now the Democrats are campaigning with the Cheneys. I mean, if you told me that the Democratic nominee would be campaigning with Dick and Liz Cheney, I wouldn't have believed you. They used to be the party of the working class. Now they are the party of the elites. You know, they're a completely different party. I feel like everything has kind of reversed. I feel like they're part of the problem is their nomination process, because they seem to anoint their nominees as opposed to letting a primary process play out. And I feel like if they let the Democrats choose the nominee, they would have actually, I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like Kamala Harris is the worst. She's the worst nominee I think I've ever seen in my lifetime.
All right,
And
Melissa, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. That's a lot, and I think we all want to ask you questions and clarify some things. But let's let Dan respond to your characterization of his party.
For sure, it has changed in 8 years, and I think part of the issue is the Democratic Party has a little bit of an identity crisis right now.
Yeah.
If you go back to the last few years, you knew what Bill Clinton wanted to do, right? He wanted to focus on the economy. He ended up doing welfare reform and financial services reform. When Barack Obama ran, he was running on healthcare, the clean energy, like cap and trade. He had a set of to-do that Democrats have been talking about for 40 or 50 years.
Right.
Sean said it the other day. The animating reason that Joe Biden ran was, he says, Charlottesville and his just complete hatred of Donald Trump. The reason Kamala Harris is running is just the fear within the party that Donald Trump could get back into office. You don't really know what the party wants to do here going forward. I would take a little bit of a exception with some of the stuff you said, in the sense that I don't think the party is pro-censorship. I think there was and still is a lot of misinformation on social media. I see it daily on X and other places. And I think society is trying to wrestle with how social media is a wild west. Should there be any guardrails? Should there be liability? Like it's a meta kind of macro conversation. But I think you do represent a lot of Democrats, which is they feel like the party has left them. It is more of a white collar party than a blue collar party. I don't think all the party leadership recognizes that. Like they do, but they don't want to admit it and what that means from a political standpoint. So I think if the party is going to be successful, it needs to listen to you. It needs to listen to others. It needs to respect you and others and figure out, what does it want to accomplish if it gets back into office?
Melissa, do you consider
I was going to say, it's really interesting. You look at the surrogates that are supporting, you mentioned the Cheneys, right? They're claiming anyway, which I don't agree with, that they're still conservative. They just don't like Donald Trump. You look at the people who are supporting Donald Trump, RFK, Tulsi, whatever, they're coming over. They're saying it's a policy thing, right? And that's the shift. The Democrats are pushing people over to the Republican Party because of policy issues. The people who are voting for Kamala Harris are doing it because they don't like Trump. At least that's what they're saying. So